How's it, everybody, and a warm welcome to the NFT show. I'm your host, Philip Kalinko, and tonight we're looking at blue chip NFTs, diving deep into blue chip. Before we do, let's have a look at what's going on here. So, market update. We've got the S&P 500 up, NASDAQ up, but we started off trade quite down. It's been very volatile. I mean, there's about a 3% difference between the highs and the lows of this session today, just showing that there's volatility, there's uncertainty, and there's fear in the market. And we did see that translate into cryptocurrencies. So they were a bit more down than they are currently when we started. But they're still down on the day. You're looking at ETH at 1,074 and Bitcoin at 20,100. So, yeah, I mean, look, it doesn't seem stable to me at the moment. It does seem like the smallest events can tip the scales, and there's a lot of global events. So I am still exercising huge caution at the moment. And, yeah, just being careful with the market. If we have a look here at our OpenSea daily volume, have a look here. Yesterday was 20,796,000. Monthly volume, today's the 22nd, and we are on 2.5 billion. Sorry, 558 million. So, yeah, looking like a dismal month. Numbers of NFTs sold, 1.1 million so far, which is not too bad. But it must be lower value NFTs because it's not translating into the turnover that we're used to seeing. And active monthly traders, currently 330,000. So that's our OpenSea figures. If we have a look here at what's trending in the last 24 hours, we've got Doodles, which we're going to take a deep dive look into tonight. Top of the chart, they announced a whole lot of interesting things at NFT New York, their party, some very bullish stuff. We're going to chat about that. Bored Ape Yacht Club sitting at 89 Ethereum. Duplicator, part of the Doodles ecosystem, sitting at 3.9. Azuki sitting at 12.7. Other Deeds sitting at 2.29. Solana project, Art of the Mob, sitting at 4.65 Ethereum. Lonely Pop sitting at 0.25. We got CryptoPunks, which we're also going to dive deep into tonight, sitting at, I think they're about 65 Ethereum. Primates, another Solana project at 24.5 Sol. Mutants at 17.75. Art of the Seasons at 0.43. Still seeing art blocks in the top 15, although down. Goblins sitting at 3 Ethereum. Ada Chaos sitting at 5.5 Sol, and OK Bears at 130 Sols. If we have a look here at flips.finance, just to get an idea of green versus red, we see it's a mixed bag of green versus red, some up, some down. Top leader at the last 24 hours is Doodles, and we're going to take a look into them. And then if we have a look at what's trending right now, this is a 5-minute active trades. You can have a look at what's trending at this point of time. All right, let's get into it. NFTs worth investing in right now. These are going to be the blue chips. All right, so our first blue chip, and I think we can all agree, is the entire Yuga Labs ecosystem. Now, Yuga Labs was always Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mutants, Bored Ape Kennel Club, and now Other Deed. But Yuga bought Lava Labs, as we're all aware, and that means that in their ecosystem now is also CryptoPunks and Meebits. So the first thing that we're looking at now is Bored Ape Yacht Club. And if we have a look here, they're sitting at a 89 ETH floor. And here you can see your Bored Apes. This is the OG Bored Ape collection, one of the most famous collections. Really notable. You've seen, Jimmy Fallon rocking one, many other celebrities, and this is really the club that you want to be in, the cool club of NFTs. They've been around for 1 year. The royalties are set at 2.5%, which is very, very fair, and one of the lowest royalties that you see. Typically see on average about 5% for other collections. If we have a look from all time over here, I'll just change this to all time, you can see the price action there quite nicely. Gives you a good visual of the price action. They were launched about 13 months ago, 1st of May, and you can have a look here at what the price has done. The highs that they hit were just pre-other deeds, and you can see that's 170, 159, hard to get it. I saw 160 as well. All right, so really has been high. And again, I mean, this is really the OG of the space. And then they did their Mutant Ape as well as the Bored Ape Kennel Club. So another way into this ecosystem is mutants. But here you've got 20,000 items versus on the Bored Ape Yacht Club where you've got 10,000 items. So here you've got 19,400, a very good owner distribution ratio, 13.2. You can see here that they've done a total of 420,000 since inception. And this is what these guys look like. And if we go to activity and we swap it to all time, see over here, I'll give you a nice visual of what the floor price has done. Again, the highest they've ever been is just above 40 Ethereum, and that was just before the other deed launch. And yet, if you want to get into the Bored Ape Yacht Club ecosystem, this is another way in. You know, they have treated the apes and the mutants quite equally. So they both get access, like even NFT New York at the moment, if you have a mutant, you also get access as well as a Bored Ape. They haven't done the same with the Kennel Club, but they have said that there's going to be future, they're working on the Kennel Club currently. They've hinted at a Robo Dog coming up, and that's why we've seen this price jump quite dramatically. The Kennel Club is 9,600 items, 5,500 owners, floor price of 6.5, total volume traded, 100 Ethereum. If we have a look at the activity over here, and we change it just to all time, and you can see here, they've gone as high as 14 ETH, and it gives you also paints a good picture. So this is an entry into the ecosystem, but it's definitely, and it's got future utility coming up, and they're going to be bringing it soon. So yeah, I personally bought one of these about a month ago, and yeah, we'll see what happens with when they announce their future drop with regards to the Kennel Club. Then, as we all know, other deeds, the Metaverse play by Bored Ape Yacht Club, 2.29 is the floor price. It's done a total of 304,000 Ethereum, which is massive. I mean, let's just have a look back here. That's almost as much as the whole of Mutant. Mutant's done 420, and other deeds, which has only been around for 2 months, has done 304,000, which really does paint a picture. We did a video on this. I did a video on this where we dived really deep into this. So I'm not going to talk about the different attributes and things like that, but if that is something that you're interested in, because it is quite confusing, then just search for other deed or other side on my YouTube, and you will then find that video that dives deep. But it is incredible to me, the volume that's been done. The thing that you got to be careful with here, in my opinion, is that the game itself is not around the corner. So these, you know, there's 100,000 of these. They're going to be launching another 100,000. There's going to be a total of 200,000 of these, and we don't, you know when the game is going to be live. But anyone who knows gaming knows that it takes years to create a playable, decent game. So I can't imagine anything happening here with regards to a real game launch that you can play in this year. That's my personal opinion. I really can't imagine. It would even be incredible if they do it next year. So with that in mind and the market in mind, there might be better opportunities to get in than the current floor at the moment. Obviously, they will drop teasers, and they're really good at that, and things like that. So that could cause movement, and then I would upwards movement if they drop a trailer that's really great, which we saw they did about a month ago, and it did hike the price a bit, and then it's quiet and it goes down again. So I wouldn't rush to enter in here, but I would have it on my radar, and definitely look for ones that have an artifact on it, if possible, close to the floor. So we see the floor is 2.3 ETH, and one with an artifact here is about 3 ETH. But you also want to see the sentiment, which is where the land is. Again, that video you can check on our YouTube channel, where we jumped into all the attributes of them. So now, since Yuga has bought Lava Labs, CryptoPunks falls into the ecosystem as well. This is the real OG collection of NFTs. CryptoPunks really are the holy grail of the history of NFTs, and I do believe they will always hold that place. They about 65 ETH. I'm going to show you where to purchase them, because you can't purchase them on OpenSea. They've got their own marketplace, which you have to use. So basically, if you on OpenSea go to a website over here, and then it will take you to the CryptoPunks website. And then if you have a look and scroll down a bit, you'll go to, here's the largest sales of all times, recent transactions, and here's for sale. You click here, click to see all 1,129, and that's going to take you to all the punks that are for sale. And you can see here the floor price at the moment is 65 Ethereum. They've recently had a pump because they hired a guy from Christie's to run the punks, and they really, what they're doing here with this is they want to try and get these into in real life Web 2 galleries. So they have been featured many times in Christie's and things like that, but they want to expand that and really work on the historical value. And with that announcement, we did see a pump. I think it's really just because the CryptoPunks have been waiting. Okay, well, this is sales at 0 ETH. That's obviously wrong. But you can see here the volume when they announced it was on the 19th. And there we had 100 sales, 94 sales the day after, versus a typical 10, 12, 20 sales a day. So that's what that pump is over there. Just ignore this line going down. Someone obviously transferred it to themselves or whatever. But you can see here, I mean, yeah, what is this, March, they were at 217 Ethereum when we were in the throes of the bull market. If we go to all time over here, and just to get an idea visually, okay, well, it doesn't really show us nicely, hey? Wow, because there was a sale here for like 1,000 ETH or something that throws the whole chart out. So that little bump we were looking at that's how it translates on the chart. But yeah, I mean, these are really the OGs of the space, and I believe will always have historical value. The other thing that we have in CryptoPunks is the wrapped version, which is a much lower entry price, available on OpenSea. So you can see here 7.9 ETH versus 65 ETH for these ones over here. There's 2,500, and here it says this is the original ERC20 token, now tradable via the modern ERC721 wrapper. So, if you want to get into this ecosystem, the CryptoPunks specifically, and you don't want to spend 65 Ethereum, which is understandable, you could get in and spend 7.9 Ethereum at the moment. They mirror the CryptoPunks. So if you look here, we had those pumps over there with the news of their new CEO, and there the average price went from there, it was 11 ETH, then 28 ETH, now 11, and now we're back down to 7. So it does tend to track the main punks. And if we have a look here at Meebits was a free drop that was done by CryptoPunks to CryptoPunk holders, and here you can get in at 4.29 ETH. And Gordon, one of the Yuga Labs founders, tweeted about a month ago that they focused on utility for Meebits. So they're going to be doing something with the Meebits shortly. So definitely stuff happening with the CryptoPunks MeBits ecosystem. The good thing about all of these NFTs in the Yuga Labs ecosystem, except for the other deed, but everything else is that you get full commercial rights on your NFTs. Now, that wasn't always the case for CryptoPunks and MeBits, and that's something that Yuga changed immediately when they took over, saying you can do what you want. You've got free CCO rights. You can make a TV program with it. You can use it as your logo. You can make derivatives from it or whatever. If it's yours, you own it. The other deed is more technical. If you look into their terms, they do not give you full rights on them at this stage. So that's quite interesting, and I think we'll tell in time. We'll be told in time why. We'll be told in time why that is, right? Because I think it's got something to do with the way they're structuring the game, and we don't yet have enough information. I see Adrian over here. What do I think about the Bored Ape Nazi Club? So we're talking about the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Adrian, I did see that rider video, and I spent some time watching it. I watched the whole thing. I don't want to give it too much credence. I think it's telling that the guy rider who was upset about it launched his own collection with the same memorabilia on as the Bored Apes. I think that that's just incredibly ironic. He could have changed those traits if he really wanted to. Things like him saying, yeah, the video is what I'm talking about. Things like him saying that the collection was launched on Hitler's death day. I would think if it was a real Nazi collection, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, that it would have been launched on Hitler's birthday. Why celebrate Hitler's death if you are pro-anti-Semitism? So if they were really anti-Semites, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, I would imagine that they would have done it on his birthday, just for one example. There was a lot of stuff that he said that was far, far reaching, in my opinion, like the helmet with the ace in it. But Bored Apes has got a jack, and the jack looks like a J from 1930 that meant anti-this. I think a lot of it was overreaching. Some of it, I believe, had some merit, but I think it could just be creative, that they were looking for military helmets or things like that. I do know that one of the 4 founders of Bored Ape Yacht Club is Jewish, and I highly doubt that it was a Nazi collection. So that's my opinion. It does tend to, I do see that if we look at the floor price again, there really hasn't been much of a change to that floor price since this thing came out, and also these allegations aren't new. Hey, this guy Ryder's brought them up before, but if we have a look here, they're sitting at 89 Ethereum. There hasn't been much of a change as a result of it. So it seems to be in general that most people are taking it with a grain of salt. Again, I think there was a bit that was that had merit. I think most of it was really overreaching. So that's my personal view on it. I don't really want to give it much more airtime. All right, then we can't talk about blue chip NFTs without talking about the Proof ecosystem by Kevin Rose. Now, Kevin Rose is very, very well established in the space, well respected. He's created many very successful companies, been very successful, and really, we know that this collection, the Proof Collective, is a really gated community of very, very highly respected people that get great alpha, and it really is a great community to be part of if you can afford the entry price. You can see here incredible owner ratio, 1,000 items, 940 owners. So that's really a great owner ratio. Reason we like that is that it's very hard, if everyone owns one, you're not going to have a whale who owns 100, listing all of them at floor and dropping the floor price dramatically. So it just means it's less manipulatable, if that's a word, manipulatable by one person, which is good to see. But yeah, this is the main thing, the Proof Collective, right? And he said that if you hold these, you'll be rewarded with future drops. And we saw that with Moonbirds, right? So Moonbirds came out, and they automatically, immediately shot to a 40 ETH floor price. Obviously, we're in a bear market. They've consolidated to 19 Ethereum at the moment. They went as low as about 16, I think 15.5. We can look at the activity. But this was the second drop in the proof ecosystem. And really, I mean, if you held a proof, what an amazing drop to get, something worth 40 Ethereum. They did also open to the public for this drop, because you see that proof was 1,000, whereas the birds are 10,000. So you could mint those birds for 2 Ethereum if you weren't a holder. I think holders were able to mint them free of charge. But we can have a look here that they shot all the way to 45 ETH. No one expected them to go so high. I have never seen a collection fly. Excuse the pun for moonbirds, like birds fly. I've never seen a collection fly like we saw the moonbirds fly when they came out. So what you do with your moonbird is you nest it, which is just staking. I don't know why everyone's so amazed by nesting, right? It's just staking, right? And if you stake it, then you get future benefits. And we saw that with the oddities drop, that there was a bit of criticism with the oddities drop because they never beforehand said you need to be staked to get it or anything. They basically took a silent snapshot without anyone knowing, and then said, okay, everyone who had their moonbirds staked, congratulations, you've got an oddities. Oddities is very interesting to me. First of all, it's a much easier entry price into the ecosystem. Obviously, proof is 75, and moonbirds were sitting at 18 or 19. So this is a much better way, a lower barrier of entry to get into it. Other nice thing about it is that it's the art is done by Greplin, and he's very well respected. He did the cryptodes, and also at NFT New York, I saw the Proof Collective. Someone who's there sent me a video. He was in the NFT New York party, and they were on stage saying how oddities is really a big part of the ecosystem, and that the art is looking incredible, and that they are super excited, and that they've just gotten started with the whole ecosystem. So definitely one that has to be watched, and I am interested to see what happens with these oddities. We do know that usually the hype pre-reveal of something is, no matter how good it is not matched with reality when it finally reveals. So typically before reveal, we see higher prices than we do post-reveal. But at this point, we don't know when the reveal would be. So just be aware of that if you are wanting to get in and you are in no rush. And I don't suggest rushing in this market. I think we're going to be in bear times for a while to come. Maybe your best time to pick one up is post-reveal. Those 4 to 6 hours after reveal are usually, or 2 to 6 hours are usually where the floor dumps before it corrects. So that's oddities, also under the Proof Collective. And then one that's also under Proof that not many people know about is this, Emotes by Heart U. Okay, this is an official collection by Proof Collective. You can see here, and the floor price is actually quite up. These were sitting under half a ETH a few days ago. You can see here it's 5 months old, 1,400 items, 1,100 owners, floor price of 0.84. And the thing with this is that I don't know the level of access that this gives you into the ecosystem, which is true to oddities also. Okay, I don't know that you get full access by owning one of these, and I don't know that there's any future utility with these particular NFTs going forward. These emote, they've been around for 5 months. They're very under the radar. Very few people actually know that this is linked to the Proof Collective. If we go back here and just look at all time, just to see the price movement. So they came out January. You can see they went as high as 2.5 ETH, slowly chugged. There was a pump on the 19th of April. I wonder if that probably coincides with Moonbird's launch. We'll look together now. So they went there to an average price of 1.5. Another big pump over here to 2.8. Interesting, guys. Interesting. Again, I'm not sure exactly what it gives you in the ecosystem, but definitely is an official proof collective piece. I do want to see here when Moonbirds exactly was launched. Yeah, there's the April there. Okay, so that's why they had that first pump, was when Moonbirds did so incredibly well over there. So yeah, definitely worth looking into, and something that I'm also going to do some more research on and come back to you guys on. Then one of my, safest, in my opinion, is the RTKFT Nike ecosystem. For me, this is really one of your safer bets. And the simple thing is that you've got Nike behind it. They're a very established brand, established company. They've shown that they're committed to this collection. Their brand, Nike, fits into NFTs beautifully, in my opinion. It's really a perfect fit. Wearables in the metaverse, their fashion, it really does work. So let's look at the entire RTKFT ecosystem. The first thing we had was Clonex. This was not Nike when it launched, and literally a week after launch, they announced that they were purchased by Nike. And so this is the OG collection. Clonex over here. We have seen them as low as 8 ETH in the last week when everything was really, really bare. We're still pretty bare. They've gone as high as 25 Ethereum. I just want to show you over here. And have been quite quiet for a while, which usually is the time to get in, not financial advice, but usually when a notable collection has been quiet for a while, means that big announcements are coming. So you can see here, 14th of February went as high as 28 ETH, average sale, 28 ETH, 26. So really are sitting, in my opinion, at a good entry level and have been quiet for a while. And is an ecosystem that's not going anywhere. So that's your OG. Then we have the first box, the RTKFT monolith box. This one currently sitting at 4.6 Ethereum. These can be opened immediately. And when you open it, you get another box that you don't know what's inside of it. You get these, which are the blank shoes. And then you get a vial, which has different rarities depending on which one it is. And that's where you can really do well. So people are buying the box to hopefully get a rarer vial, because we can see here that it's actually cheaper, obviously, to buy this gold box at 2.4, 3.5, if you add them together, and another, let's just say 0.5 to make it easier, is 4 Ethereum versus half an ETH. So there's half an ETH extra in getting this, because you have a chance of getting a rare vial. If you guys want to see, I did a video of me opening mine. And I won't ruin it, but it's on our YouTube. You can just search for RTKFT. But here you can see there's different rarities of vials, where the rare ones are going for, last I checked, over 100 ETH. Okay, so now sitting under 100 ETH, but still incredible. You could get that out of this box. Your chances are very, very low, but you could get it out of those boxes. And we've seen videos of guys having parties and opening their box at a party and like making a big thing out of it, right? So that's the monolith. The nice thing about getting either of these boxes is you know that you're going to get further things out of this box. Whereas with these, which is what they dropped first, the space pod was the first one, and then your second loot pod over here. With these, we don't know what future items we're going to get, right? So this was the first airdrop that you got for owning a Clonex, and then everyone who kept their space pod got the second loot pod. Now, I don't know if they're going to say everyone who has a loot pod is going to get something, or if everyone who has a space pod is going to get the third drop. They will be doing future drops for sure, but no one knows. Whether it's the space pod that's going to be rewarded or the loot pod, or maybe both. But if you own both, you get something more special. We don't know. So if you wanted to enter this ecosystem, the cheapest entry to get future drops for sure that you know about is this gold second box, the Monolith 2. That's your cheapest entry. If you just want to have the shoe or vial, obviously those are cheaper. So if you don't have anything Clonex ecosystem and you're looking to invest and you do have the ETH, I'm not saying now, I'm not saying this is the best time to buy. I just think long term, this is a no-brainer. We saw the silver boxes go all the way to 9 Ethereum before we knew what was inside of them. And so it does stand to reason that when it gets closer to the launch of them opening this box, that obviously market conditions really affect that, but that this has the potential to get to 9 Ethereum as well. So a really cool ecosystem. I'm super bullish. Anyone who knows me, I'm super bullish on this ecosystem, and really believe in Nike and the team, because everything they've done to date has been absolutely incredible and pretty much flawless. So really a great ecosystem and a safe one in this particular market, as safe as you get in NFTs. Then obviously a blue chip NFT deep dive video would not be complete without looking at the Doodles ecosystem. Doodles is relatively newer compared to the other collections that we've looked at. If we have a look here, wow, they've really sparked recently. I'm going to tell you why. They did a big announcement at NFT New York yesterday. First of all, they've got Pharrell as their brand person, officially hired by them. He's going to be driving the brand IP for Doodles, which is an absolutely incredible person to have driving your brand. And we've seen that jump since they announced that yesterday. I mean, last week you could pick these up for 8 Ethereum, 9 Ethereum. And we see here, after they had that announcement, today alone, we've had 137 sales versus 14 the day before, 29 the day before, 19 the day before, 14, 9. And even here in these days, 8, 1 sale the whole day that day. So the news of that was taken really, really well. They further said that they're going to be doing a game. They also are going to be integrating music into their Doodles 2 collection, which they've said they will be dropping. And they've also mentioned about their duplicator over here. Sorry, guys. Losing my voice a bit. They've also mentioned about their duplicator, where we've also seen a big jump, that this will be your key to Doodles 2. I do not know whether, and they haven't said yet, whether you need a Doodles and a Doodles 2. They haven't told us yet. A Doodles and a duplicator in order to get a Doodles 2. They haven't told us yet, but we do know that you need this. And then there's going to be different wearables that are going to be interchangeable, that you can change on the blockchain, that will be a part of the Doodles 2 ecosystem. I'll show you this teaser video that they did. You can see that it's now going to be Doodles with full bodies. Let's just make it bigger for you guys and start it from the beginning. I'm sure that's Pharrell in the background there, guys. I'm going to get demonetized for that music, but it was worth it, right? So yeah, I mean, for me, Doodles is doing everything right. They're forging their own path. They're not following anyone's, usual lead, and we saw that very clearly with when they launched Space Doodles, and they were the first to do this. Where, once you convert it into a Space Doodle, if you sell the Space Doodle, you're selling your Doodle, and vice versa, and you can convert it backwards and forwards as many times as you want. I've since seen that in a handful of collections, but they were the first to do it. And again, it just shows that these guys are really thinking out of the box. They're on point, and they have now announced such big moves that I'm super, super, super bullish on this collection long term. And yeah, I mean, I also saw pictures of the event NFT New York, and it looked absolutely incredible. And again, last year at that, I don't know where they had that party, but theirs was the most talked about party. So they're definitely making the right moves, and it's a collection that I see as really having a lot of upside. They are not copycats, and that's what I like. They are forging their own path here, and it's incredible. And I just think this Pharrell thing is so bullish. They've also raised funding, they said. So there are a lot of stuff that they announced. This is their Twitter page. I mean, it's just they really are really doing the right things and have consistently been doing so. So it's one that if you were overlooking before, my view is that I wouldn't underestimate these guys at all. And yeah, I think that they're proving their worth. Um, it's incredible. But this Pharrell thing is like huge. If this was a normal bull market, this Pharrell news would take these guys to 35 Ethereum in a normal bull market cycle. So yeah, the next one is World of Woman ecosystem. Now, there's not much happening at the moment, and this is again when they're quiet is a good time to potentially look at getting into these things because you'll get a good entry. They are sitting at a 4.85 Ethereum floor price, 10,000 items, 5,500 owners. Just want to take you here. So the thing about these guys, they've got Guile Sorry as their lead. Now, Guile Sorry manages Madonna. He's also involved in Bored Ape Yacht Club, so he's very notable. We know that this collection is not going anywhere. They really are committed to this. They've had notable collabs with Barbie, Sandbox, first woman-led project to do a collab with both of those brands, and many more. There hasn't been much news happening. And that's why we're seeing, they're out of the spotlight at the moment. And that's why we're seeing the entries that we're seeing. But you can see here that they've been as high 16 Ethereum, 17 Ethereum. Okay, that was just a few sales, so there must have been one rare or whatever. They really have seen highs of 15 plus. We could average it out of. And I do think that we are going to see a lot more from these guys going forward. I know they are building at the moment, and I really think that this is a great entry point. It's not financial advice. I do know we're in an extended bear that's going to extend longer, but long term, I think at this price, anything under 5 is an absolute steal. We did see that they had a private party where if you were a holder, you got a private performance by Madonna. Now, again, in a normal bull market, that news would push these guys from where they are now to 10, 15 ETH immediately. But I mean, imagine that you go to a World of Women get together, and all of a sudden Madonna comes out and does a private performance for you. I guess that's the power of Guile Sorry. We do all know they had the recent launch of their Galaxy collection, 21,000 items, 11,500 owners. They were as low as 0.4 a couple of days ago. They've bounced back a bit, a good entry into the ecosystem, and they will mirror the mother collection. So, as and when this goes up or down, as will World of Woman Galaxy go up or down. So it's a good entry into the system, being that if you don't want to spend 5 ETH, you can spend half an ETH. And as I say, they are not going to be doing stuff, I can promise you. And you can see what Guile Sorry did with Bored Ape Yacht Club. I'm not saying World of Woman is the next Bored Ape Yacht Club or anything. Bored Ape Yacht Club's Bored Ape Yacht Club. Proof is proof, and everything. Nike is Nike, and so on. But there's no way that this is like, this quiet is not going to be followed by something. I can tell you, and I don't know what that is, but I believe in the team and I believe in the ecosystem. So I'm very, very bullish on World of Woman medium to long term. Then I just wanted to have a chat with you guys. How's it? Serious chat. Come to come to my office. Just want to have a chat with you guys, something that I think we need to discuss and you need to be aware of. I'm incredibly concerned that many NFT projects that are around currently are not going to last the next 6 months. And that's why I wanted to do this video of the blue chip NFTs, because I believe that all of these will, all these blue chips that we discussed. So, but the majority of projects that are under a 0.1 floor price at the moment, I think are really, really going to struggle. I'll tell you why. I think, many of them minted when ETH was over 3,000, many of them. Some of them minted when ETH was 4,000. And if you're a smaller project, especially these projects that weren't doing it full-time when they launched or aren't doing it full-time, maybe a team of 1 or 2 guys, maybe their first project, very few people converted that Ethereum into US dollars when they minted. So the problem there is that if they were still sitting with that money in ETH, it has gone down, now we all know, almost 60%, 70%. If they didn't convert that money to US dollars, they're in big, big trouble, because they have to pay tax on the amount when they received the money, which was at mint. So let's just say ETH was 3,500 at mint, and they minted a 10,000 collection at 0.1. They'll be liable, depends what country they're in, for 20 to 30% tax on that. If they kept that money in Ethereum, that money has gone down 70%, which means that they now have the same tax liability as the money that they have in the treasury from launch. Again, they'll also, since then, have been paying mods, community managers, advisors if they have any, marketing side of things, merch if they had it manufactured, and numerous expenses, as well as NFT New York, which a lot of them committed to 6 months ago, before ETH was what it was and the market was what it was. And they had to keep to that because they had paid deposits or whatever. And that could be their final hurrah. Because the other thing is that with sales so low at the moment, they're not getting much on the secondary royalties. And you might say, okay, well, they're about to launch a second collection. Good luck with them selling out that collection in this market as well. So I do think there are many, many projects out there at the moment that are not going to survive. And are maybe not being upfront with their community about the situation they're in. So if you're thinking of getting into a lower entry collection, I just mean anything under 0.1 Ethereum, I would go into the Discord first, very nicely, try open a private ticket so that you're not doing it publicly, and ask them, do they mind telling you how much money is in the treasury, how much is left, how much is it in ETH, is it in US dollars, how much is there left for them to be able to provide the utility that they promised on their roadmap, right? If they kept it in ETH, you should be able to see that in their contract. So if you go to their minting contract, you should see an ETH amount there, but often they'll move it out of the minting contract into another ETH address. So you don't know. Again, they could tell you yes, and they've converted it to US dollars and not. So it's a difficult one. And that's why I'm more interested in the blue chips at the moment. I think it is too risky to go into these newer collections without big backing. Obviously we've got Adidas, which is great, and we know that Adidas is behind them. We've got other really notable people in the space running projects that have external funding. I'm talking about the 1 or 2 person-led teams that came in, minted out, and have they had the foresight and the advice to move that money into US dollars for this exact scenario. So just have that in mind. Please be careful with that. And that's the reason I wanted to make this video, to say, okay, I do want to invest, but I'm scared to invest at this point. Meantime, this is a good entry point into some projects, into the blue chips. What can I get into that's relatively safe? And just to do a short recap, not even talking about it, but just showing you the projects that I think are relatively safe to buy into is anything in the Yuga Labs ecosystem, anything in the Proof ecosystem, anything in the Nike or RTFKT ecosystem, anything in the Doodles ecosystem, and anything in the World of Women ecosystem. That is where I would feel comfortable putting my money. You can add on to that Adidas. I feel that that's safe as well, and I think they're going to have amazing things to come. And there's numerous others. I mean, this is not an exhaustive list, but it is, definitely the ones that I feel good on. If you guys have enjoyed tonight's video, please do me a favor. I'll wait for you. Please hit the like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please feel free to join our Discord. It's completely free of charge. We've got lots of alpha, lots of tools, a couple of whitelist opportunities here and there. All the links are in the YouTube About, our YouTube channel, the About section. Until Friday, hope you're looking after yourselves and each other, and I'll see you then. Thank you for joining me. Cheers, guys.